Hey everyone, so today we are going to discuss the importance of parent-job relationships in QuickBooks and how to properly set them up here in QuickBooks Online. So the first thing that we need to do is go ahead and click Sales and then head over to our customer list. And for today's example, we are going to talk about this customer right here, Adams Construction. So if you're watching this video, you more than likely are a customer within the rental industry. And if you're renting out assets, whatever it may be, dumpsters, portable toilets, so forth, it's very possible that you could have a contractor potentially as one of your customers, and they might be renting assets from you to multiple locations. So how do we handle that from a rental inventory tracking perspective and also from a billing perspective? Well, the first thing that we need to do is set up a parent-job relationship, which is also known as a customer or sub-customer relationship here in QuickBooks Online. So the first thing that you would have to do, and you most likely already have the parent customer set up in QuickBooks, is to create a customer for that potential contractor. So as you can see, I have Adams Construction. They're already a customer of mine. But like I said, for today's example, Adams Construction, they're renting multiple assets from me at multiple locations. So we need to talk about how to handle that. So the first thing that I want to do is click New Customer, the top right here. And that will open up this screen. And this should look familiar to you if you've entered new customers into your QuickBooks Online company file. And you're going to handle it relatively the same way, but there is going to be a slight adjustment. So the company name is more than likely going to be the actual address for the location that the asset is located. That doesn't have to be the case 100%. I mean, you could use a generic name such as Site 1, Site 2, or Location 1, Location 2. But if you use the actual address, then it will be easy for you to identify where that asset is located when viewing a rental transaction in the service program. So, where it says company, I am simply going to type in 456 Willow Oak Court. And what we are going to do differently here is we're going to check off this is sub-customer. And when I do that, I'm going to then select Adams Construction as our parent customer. Now there's an option directly to the right of that that says bill with parent or bill this customer. And this determines how the invoice is handled once it gets sent from the service program over to QuickBooks Online. This is all going to be dependent on your customer's preference. So if Adams Construction wants to receive the invoice for each location, then you absolutely do want to select bill with parent. If you want the invoices to be split up and broken down for each location, then you would select bill this customer. So what's nice, after we selected Adams Construction as our parent customer here, you'll notice that it loaded Adams Construction billing address, which is exactly what we want. It also loaded their email address and phone number. Now, because this is a separate location, we absolutely want to uncheck this same as billing address and actually input the address for this location. So we'll go ahead and type that in. And maybe this is in Orlando. Now this is important because you very well might be using our mapping system, and each location must have a properly formatted shipping address in order for our system to assign it an accurate latitude and longitude for mapping purposes. So we do want to input the location as the company name and also in the shipping address field. Once we're done, all we need to do is click this Save button. And then we can take a look at how that looks within the customer list here. So as you can see, we have Adams Construction as a parent, and then nestled right under Adams Construction, we have our sub-customer or job. Those of you who are familiar with QuickBooks Desktop may understand that terminology. Nestled below Adams Construction, we have our 456 Willow Oak Court. And as you can see, when I click on that profile, this is how it's going to appear on QuickBooks Online. So the parent will come first, we'll have that line there, and then it will say the job name or the sub-customer name, which is 456 Willow Oak Court. Now, why this is important? The first reason why it's important is for rental inventory tracking purposes. So, now that we have a parent-job relationship or a customer-sub-customer relationship, when we get into entering a rental transaction in the service program, we can now create the transaction for the sub-customer or the job. And therefore, when you're looking at your rental inventory list, you know that Adams Construction is renting a portable toilet from you. But beyond that, you know the specific location that it's being rented or where it is. So we know that, hey, this toilet is at 456 Willow Oak Court, and Adams Construction is also renting a roll-off container from us at a different location, whatever that may be, 123 Elm Street, because we would also have a second sub-customer or job under Adams Construction for that second location. So that's the first reason why it's important. The second reason why it's important, which I've already touched on, is from a mapping standpoint. So in the service program, you can only tie one set of coordinates to one customer. So if you're a portable toilet company and you're out servicing portable toilets and you need to use our mapping system to optimize your routes so that they're as efficient as possible, you need to format and set up your customers this way, because otherwise, if Adams Construction had two rental transactions that were truly at two separate locations and they were just tied to that parent Adams Construction customer, the system would map them to the same destination. So it wouldn't yield accurate results. And the third reason why this is important is from a billing standpoint. We've kind of already talked about this when we created the sub-customer here in QuickBooks Online. It gives you the flexibility to determine how you would like to handle the billing side of things. If you're only using the customer and you do not have sub-customer set up, when you go to bill the transaction, everything would be billed to the parent. And in our software, you can still decide whether or not you'd like to combine those invoices, if they're on the same billing cycle, for each location onto one transaction. But if you do not set up customers and sub-customers or parents' jobs, then you won't have the flexibility to have separate invoices for each location. And that may be something that your customer prefers. And you guys will figure that out as you bring those customers on board, how they would prefer to be billed. They might say, hey, we want one invoice billed to Adams Construction with all of the rental units, with all of the charges for the rental units that we have on rent from you combined into one invoice. Or they might say, hey, we want an individual invoice for each rental unit that we're renting from you at their own specific location. So by setting up a parent-job relationship or a customer-sub-customer relationship, we can now handle all of those different scenarios. So that's the importance for setting up parent-job or customer-sub-customer relationships here in QuickBooks Online. Stay tuned to some further videos where we actually dig into now creating rental transactions and so forth for customers that are set up this way.